Opposites attract.
Are you ready? Do you have your notes?
I have my notes. I've never been more ready.
All right.
Good morning to us all.
Good morning.
Talking Bears, episode 179. The boys are back together again. We love to see it.
You stole my boys are back line.
Oh,
I'm
sorry,
done.
Mr.
I'm
Psych.
done. End this. Are we, can we shut those off now?
Mr. Psych is murderously annoyed with me. It happens sometimes. Show me a moderately attractive female and I will show you a man who is sick to death over her shenanigans.
Especially on Tuesday mornings before I have a long day.
Sorry, baby.
No, I still love you.
Mr. Psych would like to stay up late on Monday night and film. I totally get it.
All right.
All right. Enough of our issues. Let's talk about the boys. I love when they're together. I know it's a deeper dive when there's a guest bear on, but I just love they share so much more of themselves, obviously. It's so free-flowing. They get each other's sense of humor. I love hearing about, like, you know, Tom just wrapping up his South American tour and what Bert has planned, what he's thinking about doing for the Super Bowl. All that stuff is so interesting to me.
So they're opposite of us today, is what you're saying. I was waiting for you to build them up so I could drop that on you. No, I agree. I like it feels more at home when they're together like that. You know what I mean? And especially if they had a break and they're catching up on things. One thing I noticed in the very beginning, I don't know if you picked up on it. Does Bert look like jacked?
Yeah.
Like swole.
Yeah.
Like he just kind of has that, like, I don't want to say bodybuilder, but he's just got that like the broader shoulders and the bigger arms. I'm like, man, it's like Bert's working out like a lot.
Yeah.
So he must be like either putting on muscle or something like that. But I don't know. He just looked more jacked.
No, for sure. There was a point early in the episode where he goes, like, I'm going to be nice to myself today. And it really stood out because normally for people, for anyone but Bert, I feel it takes like weeks of change. Like what you do today, you don't see for 2 weeks in terms of results. I truly do believe Bert when he says, like, I'm going to be nice to myself today and then I'm going to feel good. I don't think it takes very long for him to see those results.
I thought he was talking about when he said he was going to be nice to himself because he just wanted to feel good in the morning, meaning he didn't want to be hungover, right?
Yeah, he was, but it kind of hinted to kind of past, like, oh, I'm going to work out for 3 days. And then, yeah, sure enough, he sees results.
Yeah. No, I mean, he looked good. I'll give him that. They started talking about, I forgot the topic, why they're going on, but they started talking about exes. You know, like they should have something where like your ex can see you or whatnot, and you can show off to him. Do you ever have the urge to show off to an ex?
No, not ever.
Not
literally
not
never.
Ever, not one. Oh wow!
I wrote that down too. His idea for past girlfriends to rate you.
Yeah.
Would you A, like to be rated, and B, would you like to show off?
I feel confident of being rated, yes.
Yes.
And of course I would like to show off, yes.
I feel that you do show off.
No, not in a, it's, how do I explain this? It's not in a, like way. It's just more in, I don't want to say like, oh no, you never thought I would be like, good or successful, but I am, like, type, kind of how Bert was saying. Yeah, I don't know the feeling. But I do know that I like if I were to bump into like an ex-girlfriend I haven't seen in a while, and mind you, I'm only talking girls that broke up with me, not girls that I broke up with. Because I think that's weird. I think it's weird. There's guys out there that they'll break up with a girl. Like I have a friend that broke up with his girlfriend, and now he cares like who she dates, and he's all mad and stuff like that. And I'm like, bro, you broke up with her. Like, what in the world would you like even have? Yeah,
you burnt that bridge. It's not there anymore.
Yeah, like who cares, man? I'm like, do you want to get back together with her? No. And I'm like, why do you care? She's dating a FedEx driver. Fuck that, man. I go, you're a fucking idiot.
FedEx driver.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's a FedEx driver. You know the guy too. I'll tell you after off air.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, we have a pretty cute FedEx driver. I wonder if it's the same one.
So, no, but the girls that broke up with me, there is, I don't know what, you know what it is? I think it's a competitive drive. Mm-hmm. So it's not a feelings based thing. It's just a competitive drive. Like, oh no, this is my wife. She's amazing. Awesome. I'm like happier and better. And just letting you know, just to show you,
show you I'm the one that got away.
Yeah. So I think it's something like that. I don't know. It's hard. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's hard to differentiate between like, because I know there's some people out there that are just like, will show off to an ex because they want to use that as an excuse to get back, you know. But I'm talking like my exes, like from like 18 years ago or whatever, you know. It's just more like, oh yeah, no, this is my life now, you know.
Yeah.
You kind of hope that they're like, oh wow, that's cool. And they go home and cry just a little.
Just like 2 tears.
Just 2 tears.
They're not devastated, but it hit.
Yeah, exactly. It kind of just a little, you know, the pain I felt that day, and hope you just get a little 18 years later.
The knife, it's a little wiggle.
It's the competitiveness. Like, yeah, you got me, but I just got you a little.
I get it. I think that's very human.
So you have none, no. You just don't want to show me off to your exes, right? Well, you shouldn't be laughing that hard.
Keep him in the shadows.
No, guys, he has a good personality.
You are devastatingly handsome, and people are aware of that.
Thank you. What else do you got on that topic? Anything?
Would you take a picture on a private jet? Speaking of being human, what's the natural
and
reaction?
Send it to my exes? Yes. Also, yes. Yeah, of course I'd take a picture on a private jet. I agree with them. You take a picture. Who cares? Mm-hmm. I'm over, like, you don't have to do that. You like what somebody else's brain does to the content you put out on social media, whether you're famous or just a normal person like me. I don't care. I don't care that somebody looks at it and like, oh, why is he showing off or whatever? Like, well, if I was on a private jet, it wasn't like given to me. I worked my way to get it and get on there. Everybody knows I didn't grow up, and you didn't grow up with multi-millionaire parents or anything like that. So if they feel bad, then that's something that they have to work on in their lives. Go see a therapist, whatever. Like, I don't look at social media and like, I don't look at Bert and Tom's Instagram and be like, why do they get to do it? You know, I just go, oh, that's cool. They got to do that. You know, do you feel bad when you see people like?
No, I think it's cool. And I think you're absolutely right. You can make yourself so unhappy with other people's opinions, even imagined opinions of the fact that you're there doing something cool and you have to stop yourself and think, oh, what are people going to think about this? It'll
drive your life crazy. So why would you want to drive your life crazy for that?
Yeah.
You know, there's other way to help people rather than like, you know what I mean? Like, you can donate, give money, you know, give clothes, all that kind of stuff. You don't have to sit there and mess with your mental health about, oh my God, should I post this because somebody that I went to elementary school with might not have some money and they're gonna get mad. Like, no, that's on them. That's on them. That's for them to fix, you know.
I get it though, because I censor myself on things too. Like, you've given me a nice gift and I don't like take a picture or share anything.
Well, I mean,
that's bragging.
I don't think it's bragging.
Yeah,
I really don't. You know, unless you explicitly brag, like Look at this motherfucker's.
Suck it, pores.
Yeah. What's up, pores? Look at my handbag. Like, unless you're doing that, that's like ridiculous. But
Which
if
I
it's just like,
never do or think.
Of course you would never do that.
But it's funny as hell when Tom does it.
Yeah.
Still.
No, but I mean, you know, he does it as a joke. Nobody, you wouldn't do that on purpose. Like, you wouldn't. It's just. But there is something to be like, oh, cool. Look at this thing. It's cool. You know. So I don't know. I think people get too up in their undies.
For sure.
They immediately started talking. Now I listened to about half of Bert's Andrew Schultz appearance, and I didn't get to the clown part.
Oh
no, and
I actually meant to like try to go dig it up, and then
you didn't watch it. All right, I'm gonna watch it after. I know it's pretty bad of us when we're recapping it and go back and watch it, but I can't listen and watch every podcast in the world.
Come on, do your due diligence.
Yeah. But Tom had a good point about irrational fears. As you get older, they get worse. And I know that's 100% with me. And I don't know why that is. So I thought I would ask you, Miss Psychology. Why is that?
Oh, there it is.
Why is that?
I think it's a compound answer, but you have lived your life to a certain point, survived and been healthy, avoiding something, and your brain tells you, oh, I probably need to keep avoiding this thing. It's compounded over time for me. Like I've been successfully able to avoid a car crash. I mean, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
Or a plane crash. But look, here I am. I'm 100 flights in over this many years. What's coming for me? The next time I'm in a small space is that I'm not going to be able to get out of that small space.
Like if the odds are 1 in a million, you've already gone through 100 of them. So now the odds are 1 in 999,000.
That's only partial. There's so much else going on there in terms of psychology, but it's like have I burned through my 9 lives? Where am I at in this?
That makes sense.
And I've avoided it, and I keep avoiding it. I'm a grown-ass person. No one's forcing me to face this. You know, if you're not dealing with it in therapy or nobody's putting you into that scenario, then
do you think a
there's
little
no
bit
getting out of it?
A lot of my fears and like anxiety came after kids. Like a little bit when I married you, but not like a lot, but it was after kids, and we had
I don't care about that bitch.
Yeah. I would never say that word
to your face.
No, it was I think it's as I got older, and I don't want to say my life got better, but my life got more complicated and like owning stuff and being a father and like a lot of responsibilities.
Yeah, I was going to say division of labor, and like who does what in the house, who knows what. And if I wasn't here, what would happen? Does that make sense? So those fears grow bigger of like my irrational fears. I don't like things in the water, like alligators, crocodiles, sharks, like those. And I know like 8 people a year get maybe killed by an alligator, if that, or, you know, but I like, you know, I know there's no alligators where we live, but when we're out in the lake, I'm always like scanning. I'm like, hey, what if some idiot released a pet in the water? What if some eyeballs pop up here?
Yeah, exactly. You know, I think planes, everybody kind of has that fear deep down a little bit, just because it's a control thing with me. But all those things, have raised up since as I got older. Even like Tom talks about the MRI. I don't like that either. I don't freak out, but I'm also like, I'll be in there and I'll be like, you know, I wish you were there, because I'm like, what if there's an active shooter and I'm stuck in this thing?
Yeah.
And
what if the nurses controlling this get taken out and then I'm just
chilling in here? I'm like, can I squeeze my fat ass out of here? You know, like that type of scenario. But I'm gonna
say something. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no. Well, I did switch when I had one of my last MRIs. It was one of, I don't know if people know there is, but there's those flat ones. It's like 2 hamburger buns. It's not a tube.
Yeah.
It's like 2 flat, and you do get scooted in, but the sides are open, so you're just in between 2 giant discs. You know, so I like those. So I'd recommend those for anybody that doesn't like
I have to get, people probably don't know, I don't think I've ever said this, but I get alternating mammograms and MRIs. So I at least have an MRI every year just for family history of breast cancer, preventative stuff. But luckily I go in the hamburger one. And I was thinking to myself as Tom was talking, how revolting this is to say to people. I can't believe I'm going to say this. I find that MRI so gosh darn relaxing.
Really?
It is so calming. They like wedge you in there perfectly. They get your boobies in the little pillows, get your earplugs on, and then you just can't move for 45 minutes. And I just like the nature of my business, of being a mom, of like zipping around the house. I'm in constant movement all day long. There's always something like, I want to check on our kids. I want to help with homework. I got to get dinner started. Oh, I forgot there was laundry.
So what you're...
I move and move and move. I literally love just them being like, okay, you're in there. Don't move. And I'm like,
swaddled like a baby.
I won't. Swaddle me up, Nurse Johnson.
So what you're saying is your life is so chaotic and hectic, you would rather be wrapped up like a mummy and shoved in a tube for 45 minutes because it's just silence.
I would rather face everyone's worst fear than have to do one more load of laundry, I guess is what I'm saying.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that is cuckoo.
That is odd.
It's odd. But no, hey, good. Oh, that's hilarious.
Well, this is going backwards a little bit, but Tom mentioned how smart he thought it was that Andrew Schultz asked for input, that he normally asks someone close to whoever he has on as a guest, like what's a weird thing about them, or like what would get under their skin. If somebody asked you how to get under my skin or how to get a rise out of me, like on a live broadcast, what would you say?
Oh, tell her you forgot something and you needed to go get it. Tell her you just left for work and you forgot something and to run it out to your car.
Erroneous. Mr. Psych runs this drill with me every day. Gossip practice.
What do we say when we leave each other? We give each other a kiss. Bye. Talk to you in 45 seconds.
Call you in 1 minute.
Call you in 1 minute when I'm halfway down the street and realize.
Not me. I don't call you 1 minute later.
But you're, oh man, I wouldn't know what to tell somebody like about a fear that would like freak you out.
Yeah.
You don't. You're like so easygoing and stuff like that. I think like if you were like sabotaged on a live broadcast or a podcast being recorded, I don't think there's anything that could like break you.
Ooh.
I really don't.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Do you
I would say like simulate a flight with turbulence, like you're on, like they're taking you like on a private jet for the first time, and they're like,
if we're making up things that they could do in a podcast studio, then yes, simulate a tornado, and then she has to go down in a dark, wet, spider-filled storm cellar.
Yes, I mean, that's pretty accurate.
Can you simulate an earthquake where the walls are caving in? That would really scare her.
That would really scare her. But there's nothing as cut and dry as like bringing in a bunch of balloons or like clowns. A clown. Yeah, that's pretty. Poor Bert, because that's pretty. Yeah. It's pretty easy, kind of a cheap gag, but
yeah, I don't, not that I don't have a lot to say about that, because I don't know, I don't like talking about other people's fears or if they're weird, because I know there's just, I mean, you got people that they don't give you their fears, but they give you their like sexual, whatever you want to call it, like preferences. Yeah. And there's people that aren't afraid of balloons, but like need balloons for sexual gratification.
It's important that they be popped. Like they be popped. Anticipation of it is what so erotic. Yeah,
is erotic. Which is so weird that people are so different like that. But so I just don't find it weird that Bert is afraid of clowns or balloons, even without anything traumatic happening. I just don't think it's weird.
I don't either. There's such a spectrum of what people can be into or what can terrify people. Yeah, I felt for him. I felt bad.
I have a lot of little things written down here, because I thought they were great. Tom and Christina talking about negotiating with their kids about video games spending money.
And then Ellis Oh, yeah.
It's exactly what we do with our kids. Our kids are a little bit older, but it's the same thing.
We just had this go down last night. I was at soccer practice with our daughter, and my son was texting me to ask if he could get V-Bucks.
Oh, okay. Yeah, exactly. They buy V-Bucks. They buy Roblox bucks or Robux or whatever it's called. One thing I noticed, though, is that, well, the story was funny how their boy didn't know.
He's like, he
didn't know what 2 weeks was.
Ellis
and then
had no awareness.
He's like, he doesn't know what 2 weeks is. He's like, how long is that? 14 days. Oh, that's long. Yeah. But the fact that because we make our kids do stuff for that. You know, you got to do this. But normally I'm a sucker. I'm like, you know, they're just like, they had that same negotiating tactic as their boy was like, so what can I do? Like, oh, the chores. And like they try to come up to you like, I'm so responsible. Look, I want to do chores for this money. And then you're like, oh, okay. But then I never make them wait. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, well, the chores are the folding the laundry. So yeah, you can have the $5 or $7.99 to do that. But I never make them wait. And I'm like, man, if like uber rich people like Tom and Christina are making their kid wait 4 days, I go, we're doing something wrong. Because like, I'm just like, yeah, just get it. You know, $20,
just get it right now and then fold the laundry after, right?
Yeah,
bud?
exactly.
Yeah, we should flap it for sure.
I know.
Which our kids are really like awesome kids, really responsible. Yeah. But yeah, we don't.
But they have that same negotiating technique of like, you know, oh, you know what? There's just this stuff I want to buy, and I know I have to earn it. So
you know,
I know you have to earn it, and so you know what can I do around here to help out to earn that? And God forbid if you said it'll be 2 days.
What could I do to earn $25 right now?
Yeah,
and you're like, dude, like there's work over a couple hours. Is that what we're talking about?
I know. I don't think we're doing them any favors. Moving on to Bert talking about adopting a kid.
Yes.
It was so cool when they're going to the orphanages and doing that thing like that. Do you think he would make a good adoptive dad?
Totally. I thought it was so cute. I was getting hyped up for a minute where he was talking about like adopting two brothers that were going to be separated. But it was funny how quickly he kind of got to the point of talking himself out of everything. Like he's like, oh yeah, come on, let's get some sports equipment for them, let's drop off some stuff. And then he's like, well, wait, maybe I better ask. And then I don't want to go there in person because I don't want people to think I'm doing it for that. It was an interesting,
it seemed like he
glimpse into his mind.
It seemed like he was jaded by other experiences, like his St. Jude experience, where they didn't want the money or they didn't thank him for the money he gave him from Bert's or Guy's grocery game. Stuff like that. So it kind of seemed like that. But I wrote down here that I thought it was a funny like movie pitch, Bert adopting a kid. Like I thought in my mind, I'm like, what if what if the movie pitch was he, you know, adopted some bookworm 5th grader that he thought he could just leave with a nanny and like give a good life and stuff like that. And he went on the road, but the court said no, he or she has to stay with you like so many hours per week, and he's got to go out on the road. And so now he's got this like nerdy kid going out with the machine, and like how he's got to kind of like
great movie pitch,
right? I thought that would be kind of cool.
You should send that to him. I love it.
Yeah,
just write it up, Mr. Sight. Let's get the screenplay going. Just punch it.
Come on, get the terms right, Maddy. Write it
up. I'm dead. That's a great idea.
Yeah. I do have the same feeling when Bert was talking about donating and all that kind of stuff. I have the same feeling about giving gifts as Bert does. Like I want to see their faces, and I know it's for my gratification because every year at Christmas time we like adopt families, or you know, or we like one year you wiped out a whole school's Amazon wish list. You just paid for all the coats, underwear, all that kind of stuff, and we do it every year, and there's always a middle group, whether it's the Salvation Army or whatever, that you deliver, like, you know, you put everything in a bag for the one family, you put everything in a bag for the next family, and you're like, man, I really wish we could see these kids' faces, you know, these families' face, at least even the parents, like, it, you know, because we used to do that growing up, and that was like huge for me as a kid. I remember going into these like rinkety dink little homes where they didn't even have heaters and stuff, and we'd just deliver all this stuff to them, and they were just like so happy, and it made an impression on me. You know what I mean? So I get what he's saying. It's not like he wants people to see him do it, he just wants to see the joy.
I get it. I get why there's anonymity too and why it's set up like that. But yeah, I wish you could see someone be happy from the gift.
Yeah, because I don't know, just like the sharing the happy, and then they're happy, you smile, you give hugs, and like, you know.
I always think about that 30 Rock episode where Liz Lemon like goes in person to deliver they have like the letters to Santa program, and she takes it to their door, and the guy's like, it said Dear Santa, not Dear Lonely White Lady. And the kids are like, wait, is there not a Santa?
She ruins her Christmas.
She ruins her Christmas.
I know. That's probably why they do it.
I think about that every year when I'm like, I wish we could go there and take it to them in person.
Yeah. I was, because I do get kind of mad in there. I'm like, Salvation Army, they're hoarding the happiness. They're hoarding all the happiness. I want to see it.
It's all for them.
Yeah.
But no, then they get a chance to be like, this came from Santa, or this came from Mom and Dad. Like, cool.
What else you got?
Oh, they touched on just how many great, talented comedians there are that no one's heard of, or they've just been like crushing it for like 20 years, but things don't line up, or there wasn't a special, or whatever can happen. There's just tons and tons of talent and tons of opportunity, but you don't always, like, the best names aren't always household names.
Yeah. I think I've said this before. I think the cream rises to the top. So I do think there are comedians that maybe just didn't get the break, like a viral machine clip or something like that. But I also think like the really, really good comedians have solid careers.
Yeah.
They might not be like on a rocket ship to Mars or anything, but they, you know, it's hard for me to think that there's like such an excellent, like, you know, set after set after set, you know, is just killer, and then they never really made it. Does that make sense?
No one gives them like an option on something, or no one.
It's hard for me to think that happens. There's probably guys out there that just crush, and they're like, oh, but then, you know, you got to do it a second time and a third time. I mean, they talked about how many specials they have on Netflix, Tom and Bert, and every single between them, they have 10 specials on Netflix or something like that. And all 10 are awesome.
Yeah.
Like, that's hard to do, you know? So, you know, somebody might have that one or two, but did they keep it going?
Yeah.
Doesn't mean they're a bad comedian. It's just that longevity is, you know, for other people. You know, I think that applies everywhere. It doesn't any part of life. I'm not just talking comedy.
You can pop off, but did you keep working on it? Did you already have the material backlogged to like?
And honestly, did you do the work on the back end? You know what I mean? Say the front end is on the stage and doing that stuff. Well, do you think Bert wants every single day to put his phone in his face and you know, put out 50 stories or do all the social media stuff? Like, that's part of the work. That's part of becoming a giant success story as a comedian. Same with Tom. And so, you know, somebody can be really funny and put out great material and all that kind of stuff, but did they put in the work? Because there's going to be other people that pass them that put in the work.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking to one of our friends, you know, about that right now, of like, hey, you know, you do this and it's really good, but nobody can see it because you're not active on social media. And you need to be active on social media and do the work on that side of the house so you can take the stuff that you make and hundreds of thousands of people can see it, because right now nobody can see it, and it's awesome, you know. So I know you're busting your butt doing this, and you know, and he is, but I'm like, also, if you want to be big time, you got to bust your butt on the other end.
Yeah, man.
You know. So I guess that's my thought on like the comedians, like, you know, because you know me, I don't like the woe is me people, like, and I don't think any of those comedians are.
No,
maybe some are. Who knows?
Yeah,
but,
you
like,
don't like the
self-pity. No, there's just keep pushing, man.
Yeah.
Just keep pushing.
I see the opportunity for younger or like more social media savvy comedians. You can do everything yourself. You can put your clips out there. You can put your specials on YouTube. Like, that's so cool. No one has to greenlight you for anything, and it's exciting. But I feel for like older comedians are just kind of more old school, where they're touring or they're in these clubs all the time, but they don't necessarily know how to like reframe a clip to make it vertical.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily know.
But it just like every
what they need to
generation,
do.
it doesn't matter. This generation now that has YouTube and knows how to social media, the kids that are being born right now and that are the next generation moving up, they're gonna have something that these guys didn't have.
Yeah.
You know, and those comedians, those older comedians now, they had something that this generation doesn't have. You know, when it comes to the time that they were
Like
at
late
their
night
peak.
appearances
Yeah,
or
so
network deals.
Every generation has a thing, so you can't compare, or it would be wrong to say like, you know, oh, it's unfair that this new generation gets this, but yeah, but
Or
you had
they
it
had
better
it
than the
better.
generation before you. It's just you just happen to be born at this time. Deal with it. That's just what
It'd
it is.
be like that.
You know, yeah, it is like that. Did you? Bert was mentioning, this is just a small thing. Bert was mentioning his New York City trip and how partying too hard and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And maybe I can get the pictures when I edit this podcast, but do you remember you sent me the picture or his post? You sent me a picture of the room of the hotel that they were in.
Yes.
And I swear to you, we stayed like
almost in the identical, within like a floor of
within a
them.
floor in the same angle, because like 8 months earlier we
Yes.
stayed at that hotel, and I was like, oh my god. I go, and then, you know, you sent me the picture of like, because we took a bunch of pictures off the balcony. It was the one where Bert like went to the balcony and dropped his towel in his butt, and he's like all of Brooklyn was
unforgettable.
in front of him.
No
Yeah.
one will ever
we won't
forget.
say the hotel. It doesn't matter now, they're
It
not
doesn't
there,
really
but still
matter.
but I'll see if we can put the picture side by side. But it was funny. Like I was like, I think we stayed in that exact room, but then I thought about it. I'm like, well, there's a zero chance we stayed in the exact same room, because he's probably, because we didn't get like the highest suite, and I'm assuming that's
I'm sure our room wasn't that big, so I doubt that he would be just like
with
one
his whole
queen
crew in
bed
there.
with his whole crew. Yeah.
But
it
we
was
were
awesome.
a floor or two below him for sure.
Yes, I got so hyped when I saw that.
I thought that was pretty cool. What else did I have in here? This episode was so cool because they jumped around so much, and I know that's why we're jumping around.
Yeah.
Tom talked about editing the specials. Did you get that?
Yes.
And he made one point. Let's see if you got the. You're just gonna say something. I want to see if you had the same point as me.
Oh, well, I thought it was interesting when they said you don't. It's like almost too hard to have 4.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Too many options.
Yes.
I say that to you all the time. Like, you used to film a video, and if I'd help you edit, and you're like, I gave you 4 endings, and I'm like, I don't want 4 endings, because now I have to watch all 4.
And it's way too hard to figure out which one's best.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to sit, because then my brain gets into the micro analyzing. Like, okay, she said this and this one. She said this. Okay, so now I cut 4 down to 2, and I rewatch it 2. It's like a fucking hour and a half. I'm like, just give me one. I don't
to do
care.
that all the time.
Yeah.
More options is not better.
Yeah.
Options
It's
necessarily.
not always better.
Sometimes
just
more is
go
just more.
for your mental health, at least. But when I could get it when they're filming it. They're like, oh yeah, this is good. Just in case I screw up, I have 4 other chances, or whatever.
It seemed like Bert almost got a perspective on it that he'd never had before. I forget what he called it. Not like the video suite. I don't know. There's obviously a term for it, where everyone's focused on the production, like a backstage area where everyone's watching the monitors.
Oh, that's so cool when he's talking about Leanne.
Yes.
Jumping up and down and like cheering and stuff like that. I thought that was cool.
It.
They started comparing, like when he said Tom is like Shane Gillis and stuff like that, and they was talking. That's so cool. They're talking about Shane Gillis' special, because I'm on record. Actually, I think I'm on record with Shane Gillis. He was there the night that Bert invited us to hang out after he did his show here, and I actually told him. I just saw him. He was standing right next to me. I'm like, hey man, I think your special this year was the best special of the year of anybody. Because it was.
We've recommended it to so 100%.
It was the best
people.
special of the year.
Yes.
And I'm not even saying Shane Gillis is my favorite comedian. I'm just saying that special was the special of the year.
Yeah.
If you haven't watched it on YouTube, watch it.
It's insane. It's so funny.
And they talked about the Special Olympics bit, and he's got all kinds of bits on there. Alabama football.
Such
It's
good stuff with his dad. Yeah, it's insane. I loved hearing Tom say that he watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
And that's rare for him.
Yeah. To watch another comedian's thing.
It was interesting for him to acknowledge, like, that's not actually what Netflix wants or expects you to do is to watch all of something. They're kind of built on you hopping around, and they anticipate that. I never thought about that before, because I feel bad if I don't finish a special. I feel bad. Who cares? No one cares.
What so that led me to ask, well, two questions. Who do you think Bert is most like, and try to go out of comedians, because I have an idea. It's like who he's compared to, and then what ASM artist would you compare yourself to?
Oh, that's so dumb. I think no one's gonna like whatever I say.
Why?
Because there's such like divisions in ASMR.
Okay.
If I say someone, people will be like, "You're nothing like them. You'll never be like them."
I'm not saying you're like them. Well, I mean, they're doing it.
Who has like a similar energy?
Who has a similar energy, similar niceness.
Well, they quickly kind of brought up and dismissed Bill Burr, but I always think of Tom kind of having a Bill Burr energy, just kind of that
Bill Burr's
snark
energy is hard
and irreverence. But there's nobody like Bill Burr.
I thought Tom and Nate Bargatze and Tom and Shane Gillis.
Nate Bargatze's pacing is just so much slower.
Oh, I thought it's identical.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, with the Shane Gillis, I get that.
Yeah.
I mean, they kind of hit it, and it took them a second to get there. But Bert and Chris Farley.
Yeah, I think.
But Chris Farley was just so silly. It's just
different. Yeah. You see Chris Farley, his entrance into David Letterman, where he's doing cartwheels and going nuts. That's not Bert. I thought the comparison of Bert to, it sounds weird because the partying doesn't line up, but Jonah Hill.
Oh yeah.
Because of like, they're both just that you put them in front of a mic, they're little like kind of quirk. One-liner, I don't know how to put it, but they're both just like funny just by themselves, like when you're talking, right?
Yeah.
Or when you see them talk or have conversations, they just have these like out of nowhere, they'll just throw something out there like, oh, that was pretty funny.
Like effortlessly funny in conversation.
And they both have the same like feelings. Does that make sense? I don't know if I'm putting that correctly. They're both can be softies, but then, hey, don't push me around. Because I see that in Bert. Like you'll say people try to take advantage because I'm too nice, like that, and he recognizes that. And I think Jonah Hill kind of the same way. Did you ever see the clip where Jonah Hill like was on Jimmy Kimmel and Jimmy Kimmel said, "Oh, you smell good," and he kind of took offense to that. He's like, "Why wouldn't I?" Like, you know, it's like basically like, "Oh, because you're saying like I'm out of shape, I should smell like fat and like sweaty," and he kind of like stuck up for himself, and I see that in Bert a little bit too.
Yeah, like a little punchy.
Like,
I get it.
He sticks up for himself. He's like, no, just because I act like this doesn't mean you can do this to me. Like, you know, that
it doesn't mean I'm not smart.
So
it doesn't
that's why I kind
of. I like that one.
Thank you.
That's a good one.
ASMR artist, I would say like maybe it would be easy to say, but like I would lean towards like a not safe for work ASMR artist that to compare you to, because you know who do you think the nicest NSFW ASMR artist is, like that you like out like on social and stuff like that? Because I'd compare you to like a nice, sweet but still kind of spicy person.
Well, I really like Orenda.
Yeah,
but I really like Ginger too. There's a lot of girls I really like that. I would like to be like Orenda. I think she has like the sweet like girlfriend role plays, and
it's cool. Yeah. Fair enough.
I think maybe like I feel like this is where some hatred will come in, and you probably, I don't know. But it doesn't matter.
For saying Orenda?
It's such a small community. No, who I'm about to say, who I would like to be, who I think maybe I have pacing a little bit like, with like anticipatory and kind of spatial sound. I would like to be like Heather Feather.
Okay.
I love that.
How
aspirational.
Yeah.
You
I have a lot of questions.
Heather Feather.
I have a lot of questions. First off, how dare you?
Secondly, how do you dare?
Yeah, how do you dare? I got just two more things. I know we got to get going here. they started talking about athletes coming backstage to their show
Yes.
and how they're older than them.
And just how they have baby faces. Yeah, Bert's realization, or Leanne's realization to him, that he's 30 years older than these professional athletes. It kind of seemed like it. Like,
oh, yeah. Well,
he's talking to their parents.
Going back to Nate Bargatze, I think I always butcher his last name. Like he does it like a soft A, Bargatze, whatever. I'm sure he'll never hear it and won't care. He's got that bit about being in his 40s now, and like how he'll like, he's like, to do his bit horribly. He's like, I'm 41 years old now, and I'll be around a 23-year-old, and like I just act like they're my same age, and I'm like, oh yeah, hey, and then some 45-year-old will walk up and be like, hey, what's up, guys? And you're like,
that get old out, dude.
Get out of here, old man. He still thinks he's in his 20s.
So
and I think that's kind of like with Bert. He like sees a guy, he's like, oh my God, yeah. He's like, you're 30 years older than him. Like, oh, but everybody in their 40s and 50s, I know I feel that way.
Yeah.
I'm at work hanging out with some of the young kids, and I'm like, oh yeah, and then every once in a while, like, you're old. And I'm
TikTok,
like,
right, guys?
Yeah, like, hello, fellow kids. I wear the shirt that says music band on it.
Hello, fellow youths.
That was funny. But it's weird once you get in your 40s, and like when Tom Brady retired, I think there's
a little part of you died.
Yeah. Well, no, there is no more. Tom Brady was older than me, or is older than me by a year or two. Mm-hmm. There's no more.
He looks so good though.
I hate you. Don't you?
That one was just dangling.
I know. There's no more when you come to the realization that there's in the 4 major sports, there's no more athletes that are older than you. Like not like I think I'm officially older than every single like hockey, football, basketball, baseball player.
Do you think in the back of every sports fan's mind, I was going to say every male's mind, but in the back of every like sports fan's mind, do you think there's a little piece that says, if I practiced, I could. If I worked on my kick, I could try to walk on.
Like at this age?
To the
Eagles. Or I should have.
Like between 20 and 40. Like in your 30s, you're still kind of like, ooh, maybe there's a chance I could.
I think there's it's a fantasy among sports fans. But also, if you've ever been near or sat really close to a sporting event, a professional sporting event, and actually up close, you immediately know that there's zero chance.
Like you would get flattened.
There's zero chance that you can do anything. Somebody had the great idea of every sporting event in Olympics to add an average Joe. Like so
for context.
For context. So you have 10 lanes of swimming and you have the 9 swimmers. In the 10th lane, there's just like a high school swimmer.
Yeah.
Or or just a recreational swimmer. Just to watch how much better like Michael Phelps is than that person.
That's a great idea.
Yeah,
I would love to get like the frame of reference
like
for
a 400 meter dash.
Oh shit!
Like, oh, my coworker's so fast. Okay, we're gonna put him in lane 7, and you're gonna watch him get lapped.
Let's go, Jim.
15 times in this 1 mile race.
I'm dead.
It was great how they wrapped up the show.
Yes, if I were ever gonna seduce a boy, they're like, that's it.
That's it. Oh my God! The fact that thought came to his mind was the funniest thing in the world. I was laughing.
Dead. He's so freaking funny, man.
Yeah, that was a good episode. I'm happy they're back.
Good episode.
I hope they have another one. It seems like maybe they filmed 2 the day they filmed that.
Yeah,
and the next week's, because Tom wanted to talk about his tour and Bert goes, save it for the next podcast, and I think maybe they filmed another one that day.
Yeah, I think
which
you're
is
right.
Extremely hard to do. I cannot believe they can do that. And you've watched 2 Bears, 1 Caves episodes that were filmed in the same day, but you can't tell.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It is crazy that they can fill over an hour with interesting conversation. Yeah.
It's actually kind of crazy that we could fill an hour with this.
With mundane
and
commentary.
We live together. They don't live together.
So true.
Or
and
sleep together.
I
that
annoyed
we
you so
know of.
badly this morning, and yet here we are having a
You what,
perfectly
so
nice
badly?
chat. I annoyed you so badly.
Oh
this
my God,
morning.
you did. Yes. That's okay. I love you still.
I love you still. Sorry.
All right.
It was about social media. You should never be annoyed with me about social media.
All right. Well, good episode. We will
Good episode.
see you guys next week.
You
You better hurry up and get our
Maddy, Mr. Psych, Maddy. I'm gonna put it on Fiverr. I can't wait. I can't
hurry up
wait.
and get our song, man. Hurry up and get our
Alright.
song.
Episode 179. That's a wrap.
Bye.
Bye.
One goes topless while the other wears a shirt.